Hi, gang. Welcome back to Mondays with Mindy. This is episode 2. Christian, oh my gosh, I'm still here virtually with my co-host, co-producer, and co-pilot Christian Brescia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
While I know my life has proven to be serendipitous, it's actually kind of the norm. I can't tell you how lucky we feel that this friend has said yes to being our guest this week. That would be my darling Isaac Mizrahi. Isaac Mizrahi is an iconic and award-winning American fashion designer, currently chief designer of the Isaac Mizrahi brand for XL Brands. Based in New York City, he is best known for his infamous fashion lines. My favorites include, remember this, no one is looking at your imperfections. They're too busy worrying about their own. And yes, my tried and true, I'm only about exuberance. We only have one short life to live, and we shouldn't waste it on being tasteful. I love it. Oh my gosh. He attended the LaGuardia High School of Music, Art, and Performing Arts, the FAME school.
Oh, no kidding.
And then went on to Parsons School of Design. I first fell in love with his clothes, but then him in the behind the scenes documentary Unzipped. Do you remember that, Christian?
I do remember that. Yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, took a look at the fashion industry through the launch of his 1994 fall collection. The film explored his inspirations while revealing the harried reality of mounting a major fashion show. Every bold-faced fashion icon seemed to have made an appearance in that thing. He is currently selling his uber-successful collections on QVC. He's one of the most popular and beloved judges of Project Runway All-Stars. He's also the best-selling book of the triumphant memoir, I Am. It's seriously one of the best reads I've read in a really, really long time. And his most recent transformation, as it were, a delicious cabaret singer who has all but a residency, a permanent residency pre-COVID at New York's famed Cafe Carlyle. He's a lover of the arts and an unabashed artist. On that and many other things, we agree. He is the epitome of a creative in all sense of the word, a remarkable talent that can't seem to just rest on his laurels. He must keep evolving and does so across all the artistic mediums, not for others or reputation or even success, but for himself. I mean, if that doesn't define an artist for you, well, just write us and we'll send you a dictionary. Right, Christian?
Yeah. Maybe not literally.
Yeah, right. Right. Ooh, a lot of postage. Simply, I adore him.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome the multi-talented and exuberant personality that is Mr. Isaac Mizrahi.
Hi.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey.
Welcome.
How
So
are you
delicious.
guys? So delicious. So delicious.
So we start each episode, this being drumroll episode 2.
Yeah, I like it.
Christian and I created our 20 questions and put it, of course, in Johnny Adler's fabulous secret canister. And so this is just to get us warmed up.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. Oh, good. I hope you liked it. Okay. Oh, how did where you grew up or where you were raised develop your creative aesthetic? Go.
Wow. Okay, Mindy.
Right out of the gate.
It's a funny, heavy question. I mean, that's like a weird fate that you picked that one out of the jar.
Because
Because like I was kind of born into a kind of funny situation. I sometimes I say it was like the wrong family and the wrong community. It was this really Orthodox Jewish, Sephardic Jewish community in Brooklyn, right? And it was really, I mean, my mom was kind of this fantastic influence. She was really erudite and well read and chic and kind of a maven, like a style maven, right? But the rest of it was really parochial and terrifying. And I was like on the outside, hard. I was like a hard outside of the whole thing, I kind of wrote about this in my book a little bit. It's like bullying on a whole other level, darling. Like you cannot even understand, not just bullying by my peers, but bullying by teachers and rabbis, like really insane stuff, like,
Yeah.
and if I could take you back there, you might be sad. And it's funny, when my mom read the book, she kept calling me and going, I'm really sad. I didn't know this was going on. I had no idea.
Mm.
And, that's a little funny thing for her to say too, because I don't know how you don't notice this, like,
Right.
how don't you notice this? Okay.
Also because you two spent so much time together
Yeah,
that
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I'll tell you, like, wow, you didn't know you were picking this out of that damn fucking jar, did you? You were just like, oh, I just took out
listen,
something to get warm.
go deep or
And
go home,
suddenly,
bitch.
I know we're going very deep here with the first
I know,
question.
don't worry. We have a little fluff.
Okay. Well, but the point is that I think I learned through adversity. I learned, how to, first of all, defend myself, which, I worry so much about
Wow.
kids today who don't know how to defend themselves, who aren't, buoyant and resilient. I worry about them, right? But I was very buoyant and very resilient child. I was. And I think I got my wits from that. I think I got my wits, if you think I have any wits, from
Oh,
defending
shut
myself.
it.
No, you know what I
You
mean.
do.
Like I came up with some good one-liners when I was a kid against
Yeah.
bullies.
Yeah.
I learned how to do that. And anyway, and so like, and here's the thing. Sympathy is not what I'm after here. It's just to tell the story about how you gain this kind of resilience and like how you kind of an adversity and being shut out from everything. And I was alone. I didn't have like any friends, no friends. I had one friend, this guy Jackie, who I loved. He was like my first boyfriend,
Yeah.
but we didn't know it. I mean, like we didn't really know it. I
Right.
don't think he knew it. I didn't know it, even though, of course, I had the hots for him at 7, whatever it was, at 11 or something. But anyway, the point is that like I had no friends and I was on the outside and I spent a lot of time alone in my garage making puppets and puppet shows,
Yes.
right? No. And also, later on, I learned to sew to make puppets and puppet shows. And from then, I started making clothes for like my mom and her friends and me and
Right.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
where did your taste level come in? Because yes, your mom being the influence that she was, but even the puppets, the way you describe
Yeah.
how you created them,
Mhm.
it was pretty impressive at a young age.
I honestly, I listened to your podcast with the fabulous Goat Boys, who I love so much.
Josh and Brent, thank you.
Josh
They'll
and
love
Brent,
that
exactly.
description.
The goat
Isaac.
farmers, exactly.
Isaac. Okay,
But
yes.
I was listening, and at some point they said something pretty smart, which was about how they came from this rural
Mhm.
background and like lower middle class background, and how they aspired, and that's what created the
Right.
aesthetic for
And
them.
you grew up in
Well, I grew up in kind of upper middle
pretty
class.
Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty Tony. It wasn't, even because the community it's really a strange and anomalous, crazy community. It's like they're orthodox, but not exactly. Like they all cheat in business. I mean, it's none of them pay their taxes. They all end up going to jail. It's ridiculous. Okay,
And
but
now our viewership from Sephardic
I
Jews has now
know.
plummeted.
It's from
Or
the one other
skyrocketed.
Sephardic Jew that you have watching this, or they
Thank you,
love it,
Mr.
or they love
Mizrahi.
it.
Okay.
Exactly. But the point is that, like, it was religious, but it was much more religious. And like the school I went to wasn't Sephardic. That was like regular old, like Ashkenazic Jewish. And the rabbis looked like rabbis. They had the curls and the big hats and the
Right.
giant furs in August, and they smelled bad, and they were rabbis.
Right.
Whereas like the rabbis at shul had like, hairy chests with gold chains and big
Right.
packages, and they smelled like Paco Rabanne. I mean, it was ridiculous,
Yes. We
So
have a community in Los Angeles similar, so I'm very familiar.
you talk about a bait and switch, like
Yeah.
you tell me what is good about a sexy rabbi, okay, for a 13-year-old. That is not good exposure for me. But anyway, the point is that the women in shul, which was this weird thing, it was like Orthodox, maybe because the ladies sat separately, but they didn't
But it
wear
was a fashion show,
shtiles.
right?
It was a fashion show, and I'm not talking. Yes, it happened to be the 1970s, so it was like. Yeah,
Fabulous.
it was like middies or minis with like, tights and big wedgies and
Wow.
hair and décolletage and wrap dresses that were really tight. I mean, it was something. I mean, it
Wow.
wasn't, that's why I'm saying it was like
Yeah.
shul, but it wasn't shul because it was like a short skirt and heels. I mean, I don't know what that's about. Like, it's a crazy thing. Whereas at school, the Rebbitzins, the rabbis' wives or the ladies who taught class all wore wigs to make themselves look worse. Okay, you figure that out. All right,
I
you're
know.
talking to
Listen,
someone who
I'm
loves
of
a
the
wig.
tribe. I get it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love a wig, but not to make myself look worse. Okay, that is a crazy, crazy, like, speaking of sacrilege, that's a sacrilege unto itself, right? An ugly wig, excuse me? Excuse me?
I'm with you.
I pick up what you're putting down. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, next question.
Okay, that was number one. Bye-bye. See you. That was fun.
I mean,
Okay.
that needs just a semicolon for a second. Hold
Right.
on.
I think I just
It's not
won
a
the
period, but
competition. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
okay. Oh, among your friends, what are you best known for? I love this for
Among
you.
my friends, what am I best known for?
Yes.
I think
You're really good at a lot of things.
I think I think what I bring is like surprise. I think they don't know what the hell to expect. Is that a good answer for that question? Like,
That's a
because
great answer.
Oh,
no, I
good.
mean it. I mean it. I'm known for like never knowing. Really, you don't know what you're going to get from me. That's a scary, funny thing, but it's the truth.
First of all, it's also why I want to act with you because I love
Yeah,
that about you. Not only in
exactly.
person, but in yes, it's admirable.
I
And I
love
love
it.
that.
Well, let's go.
I mean, I'm working on it, kiddo. I'm working on it. Okay. Oh, what's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure. I have so many guilty pleasures, right? I
Ditto.
would say my guilty pleasure. I have to tell you this about guilty pleasures right now in the time of
Yes.
COVID, which is like,
Thank you for
you'd
that.
expect. No, I mean it. You'd expect people to be really good at guilty pleasures. Like, now's the time. If you're going to drink too much, go ahead and drink. If you're going to miss your meeting, miss your fucking meeting now. You know what I mean? Because everybody will understand.
Yep.
But I don't really drink too much. I eat a lot. I eat a lot of cheese. Guilty pleasure, cheese. I eat a lot of ice cream. Dairy products, guilty pleasure. How about that? Is that a good enough
It's
answer? But
it's
the
more than
problem, I was
it's
gonna
more than
say,
good.
like,
It's a little too relatable for me.
but wait a second. Here's the sick
Yeah.
thing. Like, I still can't, like, even I can't go to like guilty places because I'm such a guilty little sad Jewish boy that if I go to the guilty place, I have to then go on a bicycle for 2 hours and
Which you've been
really,
doing.
which
So
I have been doing. Yes, but you see what I mean? Like, even now under the COVID guilty pleasure, like sort of loosening of the chains a bit, I'm
yeah.
still not able to do it, which is a sick thing. I have to learn how to take a little guilty serious. No
Yeah,
kidding.
you do.
I
I
do.
wouldn't mind that for you. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't ask,
Like, can I just tell you
but
this
I'm
one
offering
little
it.
I'm going to tell you this one story. Like, Saturday, I go, okay, it's Saturday. It's Shabbat, right? I'm not going to go bicycle riding. And then I end up going bicycle because I can't stand it. And then I go, I'm just going to sit here and, like, because on Friday nights I'm on QVC. So I don't get to see RuPaul Drag Race first run. So I have to wait till Saturday to watch it. So I go, I'm just going to sit here all day. I'm even going to watch the fucking commercials. Okay. It's going to take all day. And then and then I'm going to eat the ice cream. I'm going to sit there and eat cheese and ice cream and watch RuPaul Drag Race. And I can't bring myself. I get very like depressed when I do it. It's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm sitting here watching RuPaul Drag Race in the middle of the day drinking, day eating cheese. I can't do it. I get very depressed on Saturdays when I'm supposed to do the opposite.
Okay, I now know to call you
You
Saturday
understand what I'm saying?
afternoons.
Exactly.
Yes, I will call you Saturday afternoons and get you out of that.
Get me
Anyway,
out, babe. Get me out.
I
Get me out.
will. I'll always get you out. Okay, this is also going to be incredibly hard for you, and I won't hold you to it. I'm sorry. I won't hold you to who you pick. Who's the most fascinating person you've met? And can I know I mean, for me,
Mhm.
your list of from Liza to Audrey to, like, I don't even have to say last names. So I know this
Yeah.
is insanely challenging for you, let alone Avedon Dick, as you call him. My God.
The most fascinating person I ever met. The
In
most
this moment.
fascinating person.
In this moment.
What do you mean in this moment? You mean now?
I'm
Of now?
I'm just you're not gonna be held to your answer for the rest of your life. Just in this moment of this conversation. Like, who's the most fascinating person you ever met?
I mean, I think Faye Dunaway is the most fascinating person I ever met in my life because it was the crazy, crazy, crazy experience of a day. She came in for a fitting and it was just like insane from beginning to end. And she kept doing this thing where she would like
So
look in
wait,
the
is this in
mirror.
your showroom on Green
Yeah,
Street? Is
this is
this
a
okay?
long time ago. She had like some
Okay.
sitcom. She had gotten the job in some sitcom as playing like a working lady, a working woman,
Oh my
and she
gosh.
had to get like clothes that looked appropriate at work. You know, and I used to do like a lot of suits and things, right?
Yes,
She
I
came
know.
up, and no. Here's what one really good thing that she did, which I think everybody should start doing, was she would look in the mirror, right? And she'd
Mhm.
look at herself and she'd go, "Oh, this is very fey, very, very fey."
Oh my.
In the third person, you see? I mean, that is, right?
I mean, I wanna
Fascinating.
give her an award for that.
That's
I
Yeah,
amazing.
know, I know, I know, I
yeah.
know.
Okay, last question
Mhm.
before we really get into it. Okay, knowing that you are a happily married man, who is your celebrity pass?
Well, right now I have well, if I said John Hamm, you would understand, right?
Mm,
But right
very
now
much.
it's Andy Cuomo.
Mm.
Okay,
Andy
yes.
Cuomo, yes, he is my celebrity pass. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, you
Yeah.
you are not
Or
alone.
darling, or a Cuomo
Yeah?
sandwich, Andy and Chris, both.
Oh,
Seriously, not the
okay,
same, okay?
okay.
Yeah.
No,
That's a good answer.
yes, I
Cuomo
approve
sandwich.
that answer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cuomo-sexual. To quote Randy Rainbow, I am a Cuomo-sexual.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Jill Cargman says the same thing, a
Okay, see,
Cuomo-sexual. I
Cuomo-sexual. We are
love
all
it.
Cuomo-sexuals at the moment, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I put down the stuff canister, and then we get into it, which is really why Christian and I decided to do this, being creatives that we are in very separate mediums.
Mhm.
Although I like to anyway, it's not about me. Point
It
is, was
might
still
be
gonna go
about
there.
you.
I know, but I was still gonna go there. Point being, you are one of the most incredible creatives I know in that you, from very early on, did not limit yourself to be defined by just a fashion designer or a style expert or whatever the heck people want to. What is your process? What is your creative process as you define it? And some of your inspirations, do they come from memories, people, experiences? Like, just talk about it. I just want to hear your process.
Okay. Well, it's a hard thing to talk about process because it's not a regular thing. I don't process everything in the same way.
Mhm.
Again, it's like the surprise element is what keeps me kind of interested in everything. Like what is different about this than the other and the other and the other and the other. But you said something that was pretty smart, which was that like I
Thanks.
grew up not challenging the fact that because listen, every teacher I ever had, every drama teacher I ever had, every music teacher I ever had, every design teacher I ever had, they all said that I would have to sort of narrow it down and make a choice and not do everything,
I hate that.
I
Yes.
hate it too. And I hated it so much because I couldn't stop doing everything.
Right.
And
Yes.
so, oh, there's about to be like this noise outside.
Okay, that's okay.
Is it all
I'm
right?
enraptured. I'm
Okay,
enraptured, so I don't care.
right. Well, so I was going to say that, something in me knew a few things, knew that I wasn't completely insane, like the rabbis were trying to tell me, right? That I wasn't some kind of heretic that would be stoned to death, right? For being gay and for being an artist. Both
Right.
of those things are not okay in the Jewish religion. You're not supposed to be
No,
gay.
I know.
And you're not supposed to be an artist either. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but if you make graven images, you're supposed to be stoned to death or something, or
Right, my family called it
sharply
monkey
rebuked.
business. Yeah,
What? They called it what?
monkey business.
Monkey business, right. Right. And if you're not stoned to death, strongly rebuked for doing so.
Yes,
Okay. Like really
I'm
taken
laughing,
on the
it's not
carpet and
funny.
going like, yeah, no, it's not funny. Anyway, the point is that something, I'm not sure what, knew that everybody was crazy and wrong about that. And they were crazy and wrong about like, stop taking piano lessons, or stop taking acting lessons, or stop drawing, or stop sewing. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
I think that's a bad thing to say. There was one teacher that I had who was great, called Frank Rizzo at Parsons, and he used to say to me,
Mm.
"Darling, they will catch up. They will catch up."
Oh, bravo,
Yeah,
I
Mr.
love
Rizzo.
that.
Mr.
And how
Rizzo.
old were you by then, though? You're then what, 18, 19?
Yes, I was
Dang
already.
it.
Yes, I know, I know. But but I do owe everything to this one teacher named Mrs. Kanowitz, whose name I still don't know what her married name is, and I wrote
Amazing.
about her in the book, and I
I
you
know.
know that, like, yeah, well, Miss Kanowitz, like in 8th grade, like she was like, maybe you shouldn't go to yeshiva, maybe you should go to like another school, like how about Performing Arts High School, where they have an acting department and a music department, and why don't you audition for both? And so I did, and she like helped me and got my parents into it and
Thank
massaged
God.
the whole thing. I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
really
because
awesome.
you found your people, whatever that means. I mean,
Exactly.
our people change, but
That's right.
I came very late in life too to finding a group of my peers, shall I say, people that made me feel comfortable and not self-loathing for being, the
Yeah,
storyteller that I am.
yeah, you came to it so late in life. What was it, 8 or something that you started on TV? I mean, fuck you.
13, bitch.
13. Hey, wait a minute. I have a question about Christian.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Christian, are you gay? Are you straight? What
I
are
am.
you?
I'm very gay. Yes, I
You
live with my
are?
partner.
Okay, because I
I am.
can't tell anymore. I can't tell anymore.
Oh, give it a few minutes of me talking, and you'll probably catch on.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Well, I was listening on the podcast, and sometimes I can't tell, and I can't tell in your case, which is
Oh,
like very
Well,
interesting to me.
it's something we also talk about frequently with just among ourselves is that there is still, believe it or not, in this day and age where you don't lead with that in business, in certain businesses, that it
yeah, sure.
still is not as, and I, especially in theatrical world where you
Yes.
would think,
You would think
no,
you would. Yeah.
It's
And by the
interesting
way,
because,
you probably can like sue me for asking you that question, but sorry, I think like you can sue everybody for just saying like, "Can I ask your
uh,
name?" There's a lawsuit about that.
No,
You know,
I don't mind the question at all. I'm not somebody that lives in the closet. I haven't been in the closet for 20
right.
years.
And
Coming out of the
we
closet
aren't,
was the greatest decision that I ever made.
oh,
Truthfully.
of
it's,
course, you crazy.
and we
No,
aren't a
it's not a
litigious
decision.
sort here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Somewhere I want
Yes.
Mindy to be a gay man, but she's not. It's very
No, but
crazy.
I'm honestly the next best thing, I think. It's so funny because I'm
Or
asked all the
even
time,
better.
are you gay, straight, you know, straight? But I am a fag hag. I mean, I know the term now is ally or fruit fly. Girl, too old for that. I have
Absolutely.
earned my fag hagdom and I
That's
wear it
right.
proudly. I always have.
And there's
Yeah.
something about words that rhyme, monosyllabic words that rhyme. It's just so
Yes.
gratifying. It's so fun to
Yeah.
say,
I just have
Yeah.
earned it is my take on that. So getting back to this creative process that you talk about some of what are you inspired by? This I'm curious about because you are so multi interested and
Mhm,
proficient in many mediums that I wonder what things inspire you for what. For instance, in your cabaret,
mhm.
that I don't think the majority of people listening know that I for one am just beyond measure how excited I am that you are stepping in where you have wanted to step into since you were a young boy. And it makes
Yeah.
me so excited because you're quite good.
It's a crazy, crazy thing. Thank you that you said that I'm quite good. That makes me very happy. And it's a crazy thing because it's a fight. It's a crazy fight, to get people to understand that I want to do this. Somehow it's okay if like Pharrell Williams wants to make clothes or something, or like if, Christina Aguilera like designs belts or something, it's fine. Or Sarah Jessica Parker does shoes, like hooray, but the
Right.
minute like you as a designer want to like sing, people think you're insane. And they might be right, but that's just what I want to do.
But the people I grew up with in the 80s who unfortunately are no longer with us, the creatives that I first met in New York did not do just one thing. That was not what
No,
they were about. It
no.
was about just creating an art. And
Well,
so, having said that,
darling,
you've been doing it though.
I mean, I have to tell you, like, my best friend in the world is Mark Morris, who's like the greatest choreographer to ever live since George Balanchine. And he does
Agreed.
that. That's what he does. That is what he does. And so, like, to an extent, Mark thinks I'm insane, but he also likes what I do. I'm lucky that he likes what I do because he would tell me, he'd say, like, yeah, sis, like, don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't do that. You're not good at that. But he really likes what I do enough so that we actually like did a show together. We sang on stage together as a benefit for his company once. It was
Oh my gosh.
hilarious. Yeah, the next time we do that, you have to come because it was
Of course I
really,
do.
really
That's amazing.
But with Mark as your kind of role model or something, like this person who does that,
Yes.
And for a long time, I was really good friends with Steve Sondheim, Stephen Sondheim,
Mhm.
and he does that.
Oh,
Like that's
yes.
what he does. He rends those incredible shows. Like he makes
Mhm.
that. That is the genius of that person. And so it always made me feel a little bit like sort of less than, inferior, that I kind of jump around to different things. And I remember when Steve used to say like, "Oh, you're a polymath." I'd say like, are you coming for me now? Like, are you like, oh yeah, you're a polymath. You know what I mean, right? Like
Yes.
the greatest genius of all times who does this
Right.
one thing is saying, oh
Right.
yeah, you're so talented because you're a polymath. Sometimes it's like,
But,
you don't exactly know how to hear these things, but yeah.
you say that, but I have to say, very similar to a lot of amazing filmmakers that I'm fans of, really good directors are usually either very good actors, very
Mhm.
good art directors.
Yep.
Right.
They have an aesthetic that is not just for camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that I include myself as an actor. Listen, it's how I want to storytell most of all. It doesn't mean I am not a kick-ass producer, because I
Right.
am, or
Yes.
that I don't have good business acumen, because I do.
Yes.
But to have to pick a lane is so contrary to how I move in the world. So
Same
But could
here.
I tell you something? Both
yes,
of you, both of you, both of you.
yes, tell us.
If you will never have a better director. Like if you got me in the room and said, please direct me in this scene or something,
Yes.
girl, I'm telling you, you would not leave that room until you
Why
were
is that?
literally like, what? No,
Why is
seriously,
that?
I am the best director who ever, I'm not kidding. I can say that, like, honestly. I've directed like 3 shows in my whole
Well,
life.
I saw rehearsal of one of them that I loved.
Oh, yes, you did. You did. But that's a funny different. That's a musical crazy, but it's mostly
Stop.
narration and dance. No, you
Stop.
know what I mean. It's more direction. It's more staging than direction. But like, trust me.
It was
Trust
pretty incredible, and that was a rehearsal I saw of Peter and the Wolf.
me.
It was absolutely sublime.
All right. Well,
Truly.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're a darling. You're a darling.
No,
Anyway.
I'm
But
okay.
like I think director, that's what I think I ultimately, if you had to hone it into one thing, right? Because as a director, you kind of go like, oh yeah, no, I don't like the shot. And you also go like, I don't like the dress. I don't like the actor. And she's
Mhm.
too much or she's too little or something, like
Yes.
seriously, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, more than correct.
Because it's
Absolutely.
everything. I don't like the music or I love the music or here's an idea about music. Yeah,
Mhm.
seriously. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm actually going to take a minute, give us a chance to catch our breath and take a little
Oh,
drink,
great.
and just remind our users, our listeners rather, that they can head to our website, mondayswithmindy.com. There they'll find ways to subscribe to the podcast on all the different platforms. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing or seeing. You're also welcome to leave comments. We love reading them. We're happy to engage in any questions that you guys might have. And lastly, if you're interested in learning more about our very special guest, Mr. Mizrahi, today, head over to mondayswithmindy.com. There will be information about him, links, episode show notes, all the good stuff, so that you can catch up with everything he's tackling at the moment, which is quite a bit.
And now, a word from our sponsor. And seeing as we don't have one, I've decided that this episode of Mondays with Mindy is brought to you by Isaac Mizrahi Live, available on QVC. Please check your local listings and tune in and buy.
Well, can
Isaac
it be? Wait a minute. I wanted to, you know what? Can it be sponsored by the Goat Boys? Because they do some great things too. I love that you were sponsoring with the Goat people. That was hilarious too.
Okay, well, thanks for that. But every week, I
Okay,
am
well,
writing ads regarding our person, our guest of conversation, and I thought you would be charmed by what I just said. But
charmed,
apparently,
charmed,
charmed, I'm sure.
charmed.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you give me such a hard time, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Um, Isaac,
What?
what are your current obsessions in regard to the arts and or people, places, things, music? What?
Oh, can I
By the
tell
way,
you?
can I just tell you your last post of "Hello, Isaac" from Schoolhouse Rock?
Right,
I
figure
want
eight.
you to know that I played that 8 to 9 times over and over
Oh,
again,
did
and
you?
had a proper dance around my
Of
my
course
house
you
here.
did. Oh, thank you so much. That's such a great song. And that's Blossom Dearie, someone I'm obsessed with.
Oh,
She
ditto.
wrote it and she recorded it, and you can't get better. And so,
I
like, I
wanted
go,
I
really?
wanted to
I'm
make a
recording it.
biopic about Blossom.
You should. That would
I
be a
love her
really,
covers.
really
Okay,
good
wow.
idea.
Okay, so
So,
back to the question.
okay, so I'll tell you what I'm kind of obsessed with, and I know it sounds like not. I know it sounds a little extra, but it is extra. Which is, I've been reading the whole collection of 7 books of Proust. You know, Marcel Proust.
Oh yeah.
Do I know? Yes.
And I'm
Amazing.
up to book number 4, which is called Sodom and Gomorrah, and
Mhm.
it's great. And I have to say, like, it's weird. I started about a year and a half ago, and it's very slow going because it's
Dense.
incredibly dense beyond words.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a sentence is sometimes a page and a half long. Like there isn't a period or even a comma. You know, the French are not into punctuation. You know, but the point is that, like, under the corona thing, I can't concentrate that much. It takes me, like, you know, like I have to have a bath first or a
Right.
bath
'Cause
and
it's not
read
your
while
piece
I'm
of
in the bath.
respite in between your other busy days, right?
No, it's an obsession. It's a full-on obsession. And plus which, like, the first 3 volumes that I read had these, it was incredible, like the Yale Press edition, and they had all of the notes, you know, like, and there were so
Oh.
many notes. In this edition, there were so many notes. So, like, every page had, like,
You're
tons and tons of, like, amazing notes. So you knew who every duchess and every marquise and every, like, everybody was.
Oh
And
my god, Mickey Boardman would love
every
that.
every reference to every, like, painter that he was, like, that he was either referring to in somehow Romana Clay or making up as a pastiche of, like, this painter and that painter. I mean, it was just, but then suddenly the 4th edition, they stopped publishing this edition, the Yale Press.
Oh,
So now I'm reading it without so many notes, and I don't like it as much. And I'm not going to stop and Google things. Like, I'm just not going to do that. If I'm in
right.
bed reading a book, I'm not going to stop and go, like, oh, da, 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 who is the Marquis de blah, 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 right? I'm
Right.
not going to
Mhm,
do that.
mhm.
So it's not as good, but it's still, like, it takes me longer now to read, weirdly, without the notes. And in the time of Corona, the whole, like, concentration thing, like, it's like,
Yes.
oh, what is Mindy doing on Instagram? Let me put the book down, and you know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing.
Not much.
No, but you know what I mean. My
I
my
do.
my concentration, my attention span is even shorter than usual, if possible.
Mhm. Have you been drawing? Do you draw regularly?
I used to draw a lot, and I have this book that I want to do. There's a truck backing up.
I understand, it's fine. It's all the goods that you purchased online
They're
and your
dropping off
cheese
goodies.
delirium.
Yeah.
Your cheese delirium you
Exactly.
ordered.
It's a cheese delivery, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but you know, what did you say? What were we talking about? I'm sorry, I was just going to say
No,
something.
just drawing because you are such
Oh,
a brilliant
yeah. You
drawer.
know, I'll tell you what, like, where drawing is concerned, it's like, you know, playing the piano. I stopped playing the piano a good 20 years ago. Like, I used to play the piano all the time. I took lessons for years. I could sit down and play the piano, like, at a point, and I could read. I could sight read. I could never sight read, like, you know, like Oscar Levant or something, but I could play the piano, you know?
Yeah.
And and the point is that I stopped, like, because at some point you go, nope, you either have to do this for 10 hours a day or you can't do it anymore, you know?
Oh my
And
gosh, you're so
and
you.
by the way, it wasn't good. It wasn't good enough, you know? Like, it just wasn't good enough. Like, I would try and it just
But what about
was.
the enjoyment of it?
I
Me,
don't give a
one of
shit.
the
No,
reasons.
enjoyment.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'm not into enjoyment is not why I do things. I'm sorry. It's not why
None?
I do things. I mean, I eat for enjoyment. I rub my dogs because I enjoy that, you know. I rub my husband because I enjoy. You know, it's like I
Right.
like things, but really work or something or art is not because of enjoyment. You know, if you
Mhm.
get enjoyment out of it, like, congrats to you, you know. And
Right.
sometimes, yeah, I really enjoy it, but that's absolutely not why I do it, you know. Um, but I'll tell you what, like, you know, like, I used to draw so much too, especially when I was
Mhm.
making fashion sketches. I had to draw all the time. And then, like, you know, you get very proficient. Like, you then suddenly, like, you get lazy. You get lazy because drawing to me is painting, actually, with a paintbrush and gouache and
Mm.
water. Like, that's how I like to draw the best. And very
Oh,
little holding line, very little line. I like to paint, like I'm a painter, right? But the
Mhm.
point, not an oil painter, but more gouache and more watercolor kind of person. But
Mhm.
the point is that, after a while you just get so lazy and you don't feel like going out and getting the water and getting the brushes all ready. And so you just sit down and you colored pencils or crayons, something, and you get lazy. And it goes from that to like stopping. And now I've just like stopped. But I'll tell you, like, I think I think that like my dog Kitty is so exquisite and so like impossibly beautiful that I have to draw her a lot. And I've been
I love
drawing
that.
her like I can't resist drawing Kitty because she
I
is
want a drawing
so
of Kitty.
beautiful. Oh, you have to get a drawing of Kitty.
Yeah, I need a drawing of Kitty
All
in my
right,
life.
I'll give you. You will
Thank
die.
you.
And sometimes they are so like, I don't know if they're good or bad, but they satisfy some part
They
of me. Like
delight
I
you.
got it. Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
do. And I was thinking I might do a book of Kitty, like a book about Kitty. We'll
Oh my
see.
god. We'll see. Yeah.
I know.
That's
I
fine.
was going to do it like I was thinking maybe of not doing it as a book, but maybe doing it as a series, like a series of online posts or something.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might
Definitely.
just do so. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, okay.
Are
Maybe
you
I'll
is
do
it
that.
happening right now?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
brewing?
yeah.
Fantastic. So
Okay.
This
while
is the
you're
creative
totally
process.
being inspired right now, let me tack and say I'm just gonna tacking. I want to know what you think. Having read your memoir and having a couple of conversations with you, I would like to talk to you again, going back to a creative process and something I'm going through right now personally. So you're answering me might be a little bit of a cheerlead. What one or specific failure that you can remember viscerally was one of the best lessons you learned?
Ooh.
Okay,
Oh, I know
dígame,
exactly what
dígame,
it was.
dígame.
Boom. This came to me very quickly.
Excellent.
So, about 20 years ago, I had a one-man show on Off-Broadway called Les Mizrahi. Did you ever know about this show? Les
I,
No?
I
Mizrahi?
remember it. I remember
Do
hearing
You
about it.
you?
do? How
That's when I
old
was
are you,
living in New York City.
Kristen?
I'm
Oh,
going to
How
be
well, that
old?
helps.
I'll be 40 soon, so.
Oh, okay. Well, then fuck you. But, fuck you.
But I do
But anyway,
remember
The love
I was
the
living in the
love
city
here
at the
is
time.
it's
I know the
almost
love
immeasurable.
here is just, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. So I was working on it, and I was working on it with these producers that kind of liked it, and I was doing it in workshop, and I had one director who I really liked, and we kind of decided to call it quits, right? And then another director was brought in that didn't work, didn't work so great, and then they brought in this other director who I thought was so wrong for it, and he and I didn't really click. And he's famous. This guy is like famous. And I thought he had no sense of who I was, no sense of music, no sense of anything. And he was just the wrong person for the job.
Frustrating.
It was really frustrating. And he kind of set me up like he put together this workshop showing way too soon in the process,
Oh,
right?
darn it.
And because I'd had workshop showings already, several, but what we were going for was something now completely as a departure. And so, like, 2 weeks later, we had this date for this thing, and it was just I really prepare more. I over prepare. But something about the way he was working with me, it was impossible to even know what the content of the show was. And somehow we had this show to like an audience, like all of a sudden, and it was the wrong accompanist and it was the wrong musical director. It was just such a disaster, and I knew it was a really bad thing. I knew it, and at the end of that show, the producers were like, "Yeah, bye bye, see ya. We tried, and it's over." And it was like, wow, and everybody just kind of left me for dead after this
Heartbreak.
one show. Except for this incredible friend of mine called Wendell Harrington. Do you know who she is? Wendell. She's
Mm,
so great. Just the name alone, right? You just
I
love
know,
her.
right?
Her name is
She
Wendell
merits
Harrington.
knowing. Yes.
Exactly. She's sort of the queen of the world of projections. Like if
Mhm.
you want a projection, you can't do better, but except to call Wendell. She's like the mother of, she teaches at Yale. I mean, she's really
Oh,
something.
wow.
Anyway, so Wendell liked it. She didn't hate the show. She liked it, and she introduced me to drama department, who at the time was this guy called Mike Rosenberg, who's a great producer who now works at the McCarter, and
Mhm.
his partner, who was Douglas Carter Bean, who I adore. Do you know Douglas Bean? Douglas Carter Bean. He's a great playwright. Anyway, so they really liked it, and they allowed me to take it, and from there it got made. It actually got made. And it ran for about a year, you know? And it
Yeah.
probably could have run longer, except I got a little bored. You know, you get a little bored doing the same exact show every night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You kind of-
Although, I mean, you know how I feel about this. I'm so ready for this.
what?
I am
Yeah.
so. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I am so ready for it to be a limited series, a production of some kind. I mean, it is
Me
so
too.
delicious,
Thank
truly.
you.
Well, the reason
Thank
is because I really think not only your voice comes across, but that you tell a story. You
Well,
tell a
thank you.
story, sis. I'm telling you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, you know, I would love to work on that as a limited series. I think it would be hilarious, like sort of the Wonder Years with the payoff of
It's such a
of
payoff. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. I
For-
agree.
Yeah.
For our
Do you
listeners
know?
that aren't, I'm
Oh,
just going to interrupt you just briefly, Mindy. For our
oh yes,
listeners
do so.
that can't see, Mindy had just held up Isaac's memoir, the incredible memoir, I Am. It's available on hardcover, it's on Kindle. You can get it as an audiobook. If you're looking for another sweet treat, I'd recommend picking up his paperback from 2008 called How to Have Style, where he takes an innovative approach to looking terrific using 12 real women and their real life wardrobe dilemmas. You can find links to all of his books as well as information about his cabaret tour on our website, mondayswithmindy.com. Check it out for more information. But now back to the show.
Wait a minute, now,
I mean,
Christian.
how
Now
is
not
that
only
for
do
an
I
ad?
know. I mean, now not only do I know that you're gay, but now I think I love you, and I think we were born to be lovers. I'm just telling you. Is that
Well,
creepy? That
no.
might
Can
be
I get a
creepy.
little credit
love
for
you
writing
too.
the ad and doing the massive research?
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God! Once again,
Bringing
she
us all
puts
together.
in
Oh.
offstage right. All the toilet work.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, Mindy.
No,
Okay.
please, please.
No,
He
really. No,
deserves
please.
everything
Really.
you're going to give him and more. Let me say, I'm his biggest fan. Um, how was that for a plug, though? Right?
That's a plug. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
try to
do
do it
have
right.
to say, you are singular. You are the singular reason that I'm still obsessed with putting pink and red together.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I don't think because it's been so long, and there's a whole generation now that didn't get to live first time through that period of when you designed for yourself and your clientele, whoever that what you deemed it was me. I was included in that. But really, if people don't know, and they should, it's called really do some research if you are remotely into fashion now. That what you could get in the stores was every kind of gorgeous shade of beige or ecru you could ever want. Every designer, it was chic, it was fabulous, it was easy, but we didn't know we were missing color until you came on the scene, in my humble opinion. And when you came on, there was no way you were ever going to get off
Thank
because
you very much. It's true. You know, that became a sort of like a trap. You know, I'm not
oh,
kidding.
did it?
It sort of became a little bit of a trap. Like people expected color, and when I didn't do it, which I didn't
Oh,
always,
dang it.
you know, sometimes
Yeah.
it's like sometimes you don't want to give the people what they want. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't want to dance right now. You know, I just want to do this. And
You're
sometimes I would
talking
do
to an
like
actor who
that
played Natalie Green. I know what you're saying.
for a long time. For a
So that's what they want
long
from you.
time,
You have more to
Natalie.
offer.
Exactly.
Preach. Go ahead and
You see
preach.
what I'm saying? But can I tell you something? Like when you asked that question about what people expect or something, there was a question that you asked, and I was going to say, you know, it has a lot to do with color. I think my life, my work, my obsessions what I am most obsessed with, I think, are colors and the way
Mhm.
light happens and makes colors happen. And I'm not kidding. And like, you know, color in films, you know, Douglas Sirk. I think I love Douglas Sirk so much because the color in that film, right? And you can't recreate that. Trust me, I have tried to recreate, you know,
I think of
colors.
I think of Vincent Minnelli in American
Oh,
in
oh,
Paris,
oh my
and the
God,
fact that
absolutely.
he created these visions.
Oh, I mean, by the way, and that's like a layer and a layer and a layer with light behind it. So there's no way that you're ever going to be able to recreate. I remember there was, you know, the movie The King and I, The King and
Of
I. Oh
course,
my God. With,
of course.
I mean, it's probably like hate speech right now, but that whole Little House of Uncle Thomas. I mean, that is one of the most beautiful things, one of the most beautiful dance and musical sequences ever filmed in the history of the world. And the colors in that, right? The color of Deborah Kerr's ball gown, that taupe, that rose color. I have tried for so many years to reproduce that taupe. I mean, taupe is impossible, right? There are certain blues and certain taupes that are literally impossible. You could just keep striving and striving and striving. So color is a very, very, very big, important, Almodovar. The reason I love
Mhm.
Almodovar only, I think solely, well, I obviously love melodrama, but I love
Yeah,
color, and he is a great colorist.
absolutely.
Almodovar is a great colorist.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it will appease your heart that I'm a true soul sister, that the first Isaac
Oh,
Mizrahi garment I bought was black.
well, I only wear black, and it's like that scene in Funny Face where they do this whole number about pink, and then they say, "Oh, what about you?" The great editor, what's her name, Kay Thompson, and she says, "Me, I
Oh,
would be caught dead." It's the best thing in the world.
oh,
But
Kate
but
Thompson.
yeah, but I was going to say this, like, you know, I I'm I'm a I'm a synestheast. I see color when I hear music, and I have
Yes.
color dreams like you wouldn't believe. Like, I talk about specific colors in therapy after my dream. Like, I start by talking about the
Wow.
dream, and I think, no, but this shrimp color, this like color of the walls, like,
Hmm.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I covet that.
Synesthesia.
I think I covet that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's remarkable.
It is. And I think, like, I've designed costumes for people, and I
Hmm.
think the reason, like, for ballet and for opera, and I think the reason I can do it so easily is because the music makes me, like, uh, see colors, like, I go into these crazy reveries about colors, and I always think if you get the color right, you get the whole thing right, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
would agree.
Well,
Yeah.
most people don't feel that way, so that's why you're you. Thank God. Thank God you're on this planet. Can I just say, I adore you. Thank you. You're
Well, thank
magic.
you. I adore you. And you know
You
what?
are
I love
truly
your
magic.
band. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Like it truly, like sometimes I think about our conversations. It makes me want to weep that we found each other, and I'm very grateful.
Hooray!
Thank you, Isaac Mizrahi.
Are we finished now?
Is that amazing?
Bye.
I
Bye-bye.
mean, yeah, I'll talk to you later. We'll
Okay, I'll
FaceTime.
see you later. All right, well, that's it. So that's it.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
Bravo.
you.
you.
And,
Thank.
Christian, call me. Call
I
me.
will
All right.
absolutely. I've got your number
We
now.
work
Oh, he
together.
will.
Exactly. Okay.
Thank you
It was
so,
lovely
so,
meeting you.
so much,
Love
Isaac.
you, me too. Okay. Bye,
Thanks for joining
everybody.
us. Take
Bye.
care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
And that is Isaac Mizrahi.
Pretty amazing. I mean, he's so amazing in general, especially everything that I know about him over the years. But to actually sit and have a conversation with him, so to speak, was really, really kind of amazing. He checks all the
Yeah.
boxes, he's the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I truly he's a kindred spirit, but I also just I admire him.
And, I don't know if our listeners are aware, but his Instagram is pretty amazing. Link will be on our website, mondaysatmindy.com. They can find out more information about his books and everything else, but check out his Instagram. He's doing a lot of really incredible stuff with his cabaret. The music that he's putting up there is really, really fantastic. I think that's the one sweet spot that people don't maybe know about him yet. And hopefully we can
Oh, I agree.
put a little light on that for him. So that
Yeah,
information will
good
be up on the
call.
website, mondayswithmindy.com. This was another awesome episode. We thank everybody for joining us. We're looking forward to talking to you again next week. Until then, bye, guys.
See ya.